Yeah, first off, I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to spend with us today. As you can all probably imagine, we are extremely excited to go out and start competing. It's been a year since our student athletes have taken the field together. So we're excited. And I also just want to thank everybody who made this possible, from our support staff, our administration, the Big Ten Conference, and it took a lot of awesome people working really hard to get the season kicked off for us. So I know that I'm speaking on behalf of really all of the Big Ten coaches. We're really excited to get things going in Florida this weekend.
We'll open the floor now to questions for Coach. Go ahead, Owen. Let me unmute you.
Hey, Coach. So I remember in your opening press conference earlier in the year where you were talking about how you wanted to build a culture within the team and how you were focusing on Ohana. How has that gone since we last spoke? What are you most excited about or proud of with how you have built that culture?
Yeah, culture is one of those things that it takes time. And I do think I feel really good about where our team's at right now. And it's something that even in 10 years from now, we're still going to work to build that. But I do think that we've laid a really good foundation for what our program's going to be about, starting with that Ohana and that family piece. And for us, it's just really been getting to know our student athletes, even though times have been challenging in doing that because COVID and all the restrictions that we've had. But our staff has done an awesome job of doing every little thing that we can to connect with our student athletes. And that's really been what it's been about. And, for us, it's getting us all on the same page. It's being able to talk the same language, to be able to talk to each other about our values and our standards. And, there's been a huge emphasis that's been put on there. And I will say that our staff this past week, our entire staff has talked about where we were in the fall to where we are now. And, just feeling really, really good about going down to Florida, and the chemistry and the morale with our student athletes right now is awesome. And I do think that stems from simply that family piece and that connection, that connectedness. And, we're still trying to get to know our student athletes, and that's going to be something that even in 10 years from now, when they graduate, I'm still going to find ways to connect with them. So, but anyways, I think in short that has been going really well.
Logan.
Hi, Coach. So it was kind of touched on briefly there, but with how long the off season has been, how would you say that it's gone for the team as a whole and for you in your first season at Penn State? I know you got here in August, but still long off season. How would you say that it's gone for everybody involved?
Yeah, hi Logan. I appreciate you being on the call. Honestly, I'm almost apprehensive to say it, but we're really, I think it's gone really well. I think it's gone as well as it can have gone. And I don't say that, and not that things have been perfect. We've had our challenges, we've had some hardships, but I think when you have times like that and your team is resilient and they can overcome it, that really shows the character of the team. So I think just from an overall standpoint, everything that they've had to deal with this year with COVID restrictions, with limited access to things, but from a preparedness standpoint, I really do feel that we've done everything that we can to prepare our team in all facets. So I feel good. I feel good about where we are.
James.
Hi, Coach. How have you gone about building relationships with your players in the midst of earning this job during a pandemic? I'm just interested to hear about that.
Yeah, just finding different ways to connect, whether it's in practice, asking my student athletes about, well, typically I already know before I ask, but making sure that I know what's going on in their lives. So from just an academic standpoint, making sure I'm checking in with them. We just had a student athlete who got a 99% on one of her tests, and just continuing to check in with them academically. We've done things here and there throughout the year as far as team meals, and again, as much as we can. We had a pumpkin, we did pumpkins a couple of, or back in for Halloween, and just, I think it was last weekend, we actually gave them a Saturday off and decided just to spend some time together and just hang out. And actually, I see Christina Diaz signing on right now, but she and my other assistant, I think it was taboo that we ended up playing, but again, just in finding ways to have conversations with them when they're around the facility. Last semester was difficult because they were really restricted and could only come into the facility when we were there. It's been able to open up just a little bit more this semester, which has been nice. But so yeah, I think we've done a good job of taking advantage of any opportunities when it's presented itself to us to connect with them.
Owen?
So I want to because you briefly mentioned how this team has not played in almost over a year. How do you get the team in a mindset to really focus on playing? What is the process of getting into a game mindset when this team hasn't played for so long?
Practices have been competitive. Practices have been full of energy and effort. And honestly, our staff has taken the approach of, we just want them to do exactly what they've been doing in practice in the game. And that was our conversation this morning. Our kids are very intentional in practice. They work really hard. They're always focused. And that's what we talk to them every day about: elite effort and elite energy. And that's exactly what we're going to talk to them about tomorrow night. So they're excited. We've scrimmaged. We've done things in practice, such as international tiebreaker is a new thing that we're going to do in conference this year. Playing through that scenario, what's that going to look like? We are limited in with our practice hours, so we try to simulate a doubleheader by we started a game in the 5th inning with one team down 3-0, and then the next game. So I think our kids, we've done a good job in practice, from really just preparing them for everything and scrimmaging enough, putting the uniforms on, that when we step out on the field, I know that they're going to be ready and they're going to be really excited to compete against someone else other than themselves. But honestly, our conversations with them from practice into the game, it's really not going to change all that much. So I think our kids are just excited and are going to be very thankful to step out on that field on Friday.
James?
What changes, if any, have you implemented in the program, or are you going to look to implement over the course of your time here?
Changes such as on the field, or just in general changes?
In general,
yeah,
maybe locker room stuff, new traditions such as that.
Well, it's first off, I think any coach that comes into a program, there's definitely an adjustment period. There's a transition period. There's going to naturally be changes. And, I've been doing this now as a head coach for 8 years and 18 total. But, so I have my ways of doing things. So I will say that there has been some changes in the program. I am somebody that cares a lot about how things are taken care of, and just from a respect is a big deal to me. So just how we carry ourselves, professionalism is also a big deal to me. So I have changed some things in our facility. I'm hoping to make some changes actually within our facility and get some renovations done. So hoping to change there. And I think our style of play might be a little different this year, just because of the type of coach that I am. I truly believe in elite effort and elite energy, and I expect it out of our kids. So I think this year has been challenging just because of COVID, so we could only do so much. But again, I think with anyone who would be in my shoes right now, things would be a little bit different. I do expect a lot. I've definitely had some changes that I've made just within my staff, and just been really pleased with them, and just trying to get things done the way I need them to get done. So,
Logan?
So this season is obviously unique in that the schedule is conference only. Does that present any challenges at all towards preparation, or would every opponent be treated pretty much the same?
yeah, I think from a preparation standpoint, it actually makes it somewhat easier because we know, we're not trying to prepare for a ton of different teams. We know the teams that we're going to compete against. So from a preparation standpoint, I don't see, we were going to play them except for maybe 3 of them anyway. So I don't see that it presents any challenges, but we are always going to focus on what our team does well and really just focus on us. But, we will prepare slightly differently based on the opponent that we're going to play.
Any other questions? Oh yeah, go ahead, James.
Hi, Coach. Just my last question here. What goals have you set for yourself in your first year?
Yeah, right now we're not setting any long-term goals. This is an unprecedented season. It's a season that we cannot compare to any other year. And we've had this conversation with our student athletes when it comes to what's going on across the country, right? Everyone is playing a different amount of games. Some people are playing out of conference. Some people are playing conference only, like us. So it's really hard in a year like this to set any long-term goals. And our team's going to stay process-based. And that's the mindset that we've instilled in them in practice. It's one pitch, one inning, one opponent, one game at a time. And that is the thought process that we're going to have every game, every weekend. So we're going to control the things that we can control. And what we've talked about first and foremost to our student athletes is staying healthy and being socially responsible. Because if we're not able to do that, we're not going to be able to play. So that's obviously a goal that I know all coaches across the board have this year, and it's an important one. And, the second thing, we're going to control just the way our effort and our energy level and how we play the game, and in controlling the controllables, I think is a huge goal for our team this year, because we're not going to be able to control last minute changes. And we're not going to be able to control if something happens and we end up playing a different team than we were originally supposed to play. So again, we're really taking it one day, one weekend at a time, one opponent at a time, and one series at a time.
Logan?
So, Coach, you mentioned obviously the excitement that is going around. Could you just expand a little bit on just how excited and just how motivated everyone on this team is looking forward to
the extent of excited and motivated, I think as high as I can go. I mean, our kids are, and actually I received a text from one of my kids asking if I could throw BP at 12:15. And I, just because I know how excited they are, and obviously I couldn't do that. But yeah, I would say as excited and motivated as they can be, they are. So